Why does the desert call to some? What is it about the desert that gives it a deep spiritual significance? From the stories of the Desert Fathers, Moses, Christ, and the Sufis, to modern myths such as Star Wars and Dune, why does the desert resonate so powerfully with those who seek a direct experience of the divine? We will explore these questions, as well as reveal 5 esoteric truths symbolized by the sacred desert experience. What you feel is not imagined. It is an ancient pull. The desert has always served as a threshold space. In nearly every spiritual tradition, it is where revelations occur, identities dissolve, and deeper truths emerge. The desert strips away everything that is not essential. When you look upon the desert and feel its gravity, it is likely because a part of you longs to be pared down to what is real, without noise, without masks, without the endless reflection of others' thoughts. The emptiness is not a void. It is a mirror for the soul unguarded. This suggests that you are in a phase where the soul no longer wishes to be entertained. It wishes to be met. The spiritual depth you sense is the rawness of your own being, made visible by the starkness of the land. In the desert, there is no escape from truth, but also no obstacle to it. You are not drawn to the desert because it is barren. You are drawn because you are ready to see what remains when everything else is gone. Silence is not emptiness, it is presence. In the desert, there is no clutter. The silence you encounter is not void, but depth. It demands your attention not by noise, but by absence. This teaches that true presence, the presence of the divine, of self, of clarity, often hides beneath what we call nothing. The desert initiates you into the sacred dimension of stillness. 2. You do not need more, you need less. The desert teaches sufficiency. It offers no abundance in the usual sense. Water, shade, shelter, each is rare, and therefore each is sacred. Spiritually, this reveals that transformation is not achieved through accumulation, but through surrender. What remains when you let go is not lack, it is essence. 3. The unseen sustains all. Life persists in the desert, though often invisible until you look closely. This reflects a truth of the soul. Your most vital energies, your spiritual supports, are not always on the surface. The divine may feel distant, but it is always just beneath the dryness, waiting for a moment of inner rain, of receptivity to emerge. 4. Initiation requires exposure. The desert exposes you. Every fear, every craving, every illusion becomes visible. This is not cruelty. It is a rite of passage. The desert doesn't harm, it reveals. And in that revelation, it purifies. Spiritual maturity requires such exposure. There is no shortcut. 5. The path is inward, and it begins alone. In the desert, no one walks it for you. Guidance may appear, but only after solitude has done its work. This truth reminds you that awakening begins when external authorities fall silent, and inner authority is kindled. Each of these desert features, the sun, the sand, the mirage, contains both peril and teaching. To walk among them is to be instructed by the soul of the desert itself. This is why it calls the wise and the broken alike. It does not speak with words, but it leaves nothing unsaid. 1. The sun. The desert sun is unrelenting. It gives life and threatens it at once. There is no refuge from its gaze. The sun represents divine intelligence, the light of pure awareness. In its fullness, it burns away the false self. It does not allow illusions to hide in shadow. The initiate must learn to bear its intensity, for this light is the gaze of truth. In the spiritual path, to be seen by the inner sun is to be refined by it. The ancient solar deities, Ra, Shamash, the Christ as the light of the world, all carry this dual function, to illuminate and to purify. The desert sun demands that you shed what cannot survive in truth. 2. Sand, always shifting, always moving, never firm. Sand is not stable like rock, yet it covers the ground in all directions. Sand represents impermanence and ego dissolution. It reflects the transitory nature of identity and form. The desert teaches that the self you cling to is made of shifting particles, held together by habit, not truth. When one walks upon the sands of spiritual seeking, all fixed identity begins to dissolve. The mystic learns here. You are not your form. You are not your past. You are not even your thoughts. You are the awareness that watches it all blow like sand in the wind. 3. The mirage from afar, a pool of water appears. You approach it with hope, only to find it vanishes. It was never real. The mirage is the illusion of fulfillment through outer pursuit. The desert offers this test. Will you chase the image or awaken to the emptiness that births illusion? This symbol warns of spiritual deception, not from others, but from the mind itself. It shows how desire can project form where none exists, and how suffering is born from believing in these projections. The mirage humbles the seeker. It teaches discernment. True sustenance lies not in the image, but in the source within. Christ's 40 days in the Judean wilderness, fasting and facing temptation, marks the beginning of his public mission. Alone, he is approached by the adversary, offered bread for hunger, spectacle for proof, and power in exchange for surrender. He refuses all. What is tested is not just will, but identity. In the silence and heat, he affirms what cannot be seen. Obedience to spirit over illusion, truth over control. Particularly among plains and southwestern tribes, including the Navajo and Lakota, many of whose young men sought initiation in the high deserts. In one such story, a young Navajo boy is sent to the desert hills to fast, to pray, and to await a vision. He is given no food, no water, no tools of distraction. There, in the harsh stillness, he encounters not a devil, but the spirits of the land. Wind, sun, animal messengers. He is tempted, in subtler ways, to leave early, to doubt the voices he hears, to believe that nothing is happening. The test is endurance, but also perception. On the fourth day, as his strength weakens, a figure of light appears. It speaks not in words, but in knowing. The boy is shown his name, his role, his medicine. He returns transformed, not because he conquered the desert, but because he allowed it to strip him bare enough to be spoken to by spirit. Modern stories like those of Luke Skywalker of Star Wars and Paul Atreides of Dune are myths of desert initiation, the desert as exile and womb. Luke begins on Tatooine, a harsh, dry backwater, seemingly insignificant. It is a place of longing, where he gazes at twin suns and dreams of a larger destiny. The desert is exile, but it is also where he is hidden and protected. It is here that he meets Obi-Wan and begins to awaken to the Force. Paul is exiled to Arrakis, a desert planet more severe than any earthly place. But unlike Luke, Paul's fall into the desert is more tragic. coming after the betrayal of his house. Yet the desert is not just punishment, it becomes his crucible. There, he is forged into something beyond a duke's son. He becomes Muad'Dib, a prophet, a symbol, and a danger. The desert, in both stories, strips away the old world. Luke resists the call at first, but when his aunt and uncle are killed, he steps forward. His path leads him not to power, but to self-sacrifice, the ultimate Jedi teaching. Paul, however, walks a more complex road. He embraces messianic destiny, but is tormented by the knowledge that his rise will bring jihad across the galaxy. The desert gives him power, but not peace. Luke's desert journey leads to detachment from self and ego. Paul's leads to the burden of transformation. He becomes a symbol, a myth, even as the human within him suffers. The human spirit has always expressed its incredible journeys through states of consciousness, symbolized through myth, and dressed up in the heroes who personify these experiences. A direct experience of the sacred desert, through story, myth, dream, ritual, or travel, can remind you of who you are. The desert, in its emptiness, returns you to what is essential. When the noise of the world falls silent, no titles, no roles, no obligations. What remains is your true name, not the one given by others, but the one etched into your being. In esoteric terms, this name is your soul's identity, your pattern, your vibration, your being. Not a symbol or sound, but what you are beyond all representation and experience. The desert need not be a physical place of sand and sun. It is a state of being, a condition of the soul. Wherever you find yourself, the desert can arise in moments of profound solitude, silence, and stripping away. It is the inner landscape where distractions fall away, and you stand face to face with your essence. This spiritual desert challenges you to release illusion and attachment, to endure discomfort without fleeing, and to listen deeply to the truth within.